and gentlemen, it is July 6th. It has been a long time since I've done one of these things. Way too long. And we'll talk all about all the roads and paths and wanderings that I've taken to get to this point. And I'm not broadcasting live from Alpena today. So today's episode 29, we're getting there. The Great Disconnect is being recorded from the Studio of Solitude. First time recording in the new place in Charlevoix. And I gotta say, I think the acoustics are pretty good for minimal setup, minimal investment here. Just kind of transferred what I had over here and tried to make it work. And so far, so good. I think I get the right quiet, the right lack of bounce, hopefully. I'll look forward to some feedback if you have any. But yeah, that's the last episode, 28, was in February. 5 months ago. Good Lord. A lot's happened since then. I got really focused on the book and really put the energy into that instead of this. What I realized is this feeds the book too, because I get feedback from you folks, so that helps. April came, and after what I had thought was an easier transition from Alpena back to Charlevoix, the ice storm hit. So the ice storm took out my place here in Charlevoix, so I'm renting a place closer to town and missing the other spot because, man, that was a beautiful place. You could walk down to and see the sunset and sunrise in the same spot. I don't have that anymore, but nothing's forever, right? So here we are at the Studio of Solitude, coming back to you, and we're going to talk about connection, disconnection, and reconnection today. And hopefully I'll get some really good stuff from you folks because I'm missing you. I never realized how important this community is to me until I don't have it. And after the last couple weeks, the energy level is higher than it's been in a long time, and I'm going to share that with you. So we'll start with the disconnection and some of my weaknesses and things I'd like to work on, but at this age, it's difficult because I don't see myself changing a great deal. No more major shifts, but the disconnection part, that's been tough. And that's one of the things I struggle with. When I moved to Alpena, telling my friends here that I was moving was impossible because I didn't want to let them down. The same as when I was moving back here from Alpena. I didn't want to tell my buddies over there that I was moving because I didn't want to let them down. I hate disappointing people. It makes me feel terrible. When you realize how good of friends you have, you understand. They'll share it with you. They'll say, well, it's a bummer, but we get it. We understand it. And we want you to be happy. So stop with the silliness of letting us down. We'll just miss you. And that's universal. It's something that I create in my head, and I need to stop it. I'm not sure if I can, but I'm aware. But that makes things so much harder on me. That's when the ice storm hit, the move was coming. I didn't want to tell people. I wanted to keep it to myself. I'm private in certain areas and less in others, I suppose. But that telling and sharing was hard. But here I am, back in Charlevoix, and I'm happy to be here. Am I going to miss my friends in Alpena? Yeah, absolutely. But this area is just home now. Alpena's not. It's not a slam on Alpena. It's just sometimes your home is in a different place than where you started, and that's all right. So one of the things I learned about disconnection is there's varying degrees of pain, varying degrees of permanence. And some of it's real, some of it's, made up in your head. But one of the things, again, I was dealing with is the ultimate in disconnection. It was losing Dad. And I was suffering pretty hard with that. Still am, but I've got some better insight on it now that I've done some work. Moving back to Alpena was key to that healing. Using that immersion type technique of being in all the places that Dad and I used to go, seeing people that, knew Dad and wanted to share stories about Dad and he and I when we were always together, and that stuff was important. That helped a lot with the healing. It was painful, but in a good way, if that makes any sense. Doesn't when I say it out loud, but it was painful in a good way because it helped me not desensitized, but it helped me rationalize the loss a little bit more. Not that I didn't understand it, but the feelings were intense, and that level of disconnection is difficult to deal with. There's ways to work through it. I chose that immersion piece, and it worked great. There were other minor disconnections, which were sizable, but in this grand scheme of things, not anywhere near that. Well, after a certain point, that immersion technique was over. The benefits were diminished, as it is with anything like that, and I started missing home. I started noticing that the pain level was outweighing the benefit level, and that's when you make a change. People like me that are wired a little bit different, a little bit off with the addiction brain or whatever, you got to be where you're healthy, and it was starting to slip. So off to Charlevoix we go. Now, all that being said, that place, that town, that Alpena, those people are the reason that this next book is available, or going to be, because that's the inspiration. Being around all the people. Hey, oh, you must be Dick's boy. The people would look at you and say, you look like your dad. Sharing times with Doug and Steve and Gina and Hank and all the people from home that talk about Dad, or all the memories, all that stuff was so good. That's what inspired the book. And I think grand scheme, that's going to help me help other people deal with some of this loss and grief, disconnection type of thing. So I will be forever grateful for that. But we have to move on from the disconnect to the reconnect, because that's just as important. Once you understand why you're hurting and where the pain's coming from, you can start to address it and start to figure out a reconnect. Now, obviously, Dad and I can't reconnect. It's not like we had a falling out. He's just gone. So is that reconnection possible? Not in so many words, but through the stories that I share, hopefully I can reconnect with some of the other folks in life and maybe reconnect people with their others that they're missing too. Reconnection to me is so important. It's a difficult exercise. It can be. It doesn't need to be. Now, when I talk about reconnection here, it's with friends that I've, obviously they're lifelong friends that you want to make sure you don't lose that connection. And last night we had dinner on the porch, and it was Matt and Beth and Kevin and Meg. We all sat there and had so many laughs, and it made me think of something that Matt told me a long time ago, because last week I had Mike and Nancy, my friends, over for dinner on Sunday, and I hadn't seen them in years, literally years, since before Dad passed. And they were such a major part of my life, major part of our family, and to have not seen them, I didn't know how to do it. So piss on it, I'll just reach out. And it was like nothing ever happened. And that's what Matt told me. He taught me that. It doesn't matter the distance between last time and this time that you see someone, if they're that good of a friend. You will not lose that connection. You'll pick it up where you're supposed to. And he's 100% right. I don't even mind admitting that. The guy's got some great insight. He should share it more often, and not just when we're sailing, racing. That's a different kind of insight that we discussed last night, to uproarious laughter. Good stuff. The reconnection. I had it when I moved back to Alpena. I have it when I move back here. You walk into a store and you see people that you know, and it's so good to see everybody. Hey, welcome back. It's such a good feeling. That reconnection helps kind of heal the disconnection that you've got. Because there's been a lot in the last few years. I figure move from here to Alpena back. The disconnection is something that you kind of make up in your head sometimes. And that's the thing with friends. They're not permanent disconnects. It was just a relocation of your zip code, not anything other than that. That's not permanent. You can make it that way in your head if you want to, but I don't recommend it. Not necessary. Matt's right. If the connection's there, it doesn't matter the years in between. Could be 10 minutes, could be 10 years. It'll be right back to where you started, and it'll be great. Another thing about reconnection is what prompts it. What can you do to maybe not force it, but encourage it? That's a nicer way to say it. I had a friend reach out. I haven't talked to her in forever. Class reunion came and went. She's doing well, super happy with her boyfriend. He's treating her like she deserved to be treated like gold. And it was nice to hear from her and just to see an update, of how happy they are and how well they're doing. I love seeing my friends happy and succeeding. And whatever level of success they achieve is based on what they demonstrate, what they choose. It's not monetary. To me, success is happiness at this point. And to watch all that happen is beautiful. Partially, that's what the reason for this podcast is that reconnection feeling, that I like seeing people do well. I miss my friends. And you don't even realize the vacuum or the void that's there until you reconnect. So if you're thinking about reaching out to somebody, probably best you do. There's a reason you're thinking about it, so go ahead and do it. And now I want to wrap up with connection. One of the things I've learned over time, and I've heard the saying a lot, didn't realize it till later in the studies, but addiction for me is the absence of connection. And even though I talk about, the studio of solitude, the bunker of solitude, the boat of solitude, yeah, I do crave my own peace and quiet, and that solitude, it's healing and helpful for me. But it's also addictive and dangerous. That connection piece, and when I said I miss you guys, I do. The feedback I get from these silly-ass podcasts of ramblings is incredible. So I try to make them valuable. I try to make them something useful for you guys as well as me, but sometimes it's self-serving and selfish. I miss the chit-chats with people that sometimes I haven't even met, but I get nice messages back, and it's very, very reassuring, very healthy, and gets me going. So that connection piece, if you're thinking about it, you do it. Reach out. Be connected. Find something to be connected to. And I don't care what it is. It could be a sport. It could be an activity. It could be any number of things. Maintain connection. Whatever it takes, maintain it, because one day it won't be available. And it may be because I'm too old to sail race boats or race cars or any of that stuff. Maintain the connection with the people you do the sport with. I mean, you're going to tell the same stories a million times. And I can remember when we're kids, how many times did you hear your parents tell a story over and over? Well, you know why they were doing it? It's because it was important. It was important to them. It was a good memory. It was a good story. Embrace it. Make your stories. Keep the connections. Keep creating stories. Because that's what you got. That's your currency. Connection. Connection is your currency, not money. Don't worry about that. That'll take care of itself. Also, I'll wrap this up. We're getting close to 15 here, but be open to new connections. Sometimes, life will give us some things that we struggle with and that are painful, and that makes us kind of shut down certain sectors of our brain or heart or whatever. And we're not open to that new connection. We're just like, nope, I'm never doing that again. Never. Well, who are you cheating? Are you cheating others or yourself? And the answer is yes to both, because you have value and other people should be able to experience the time with you. It's just not fair to close yourself off like that. So when you're feeling your lowest, just think, boy, it sure would be nice to have that connection, because there's other people that put a high value on you and want to talk to you, want to be in touch. So do that. And the new connection part, I've made one. Didn't think I was gonna, but here we are. And we'll talk more about that as time goes on, but it's powerful. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Be open to new things. You never know what might come of it. So there you have it. The great disconnect is over. I'm back. I'm writing today. I hope to finish up another chapter and get this book closer to go. It was supposed to come out May 28th. And I picked that date because that's Dad's birthday. And it was doable, and I was on track, and everything was right where it needed to be. Everything was flowing. The words were coming. Ice storm hit. Living situation changed, and it shut everything down. These are all things I struggle with. And to be back here in a good spot, that just all of a sudden the creativity's coming back. So thank you all for being patient and waiting. I appreciate all the encouragement along the way. Like, hey man, when are you going to put out another episode? I want to listen. Missing hearing you. Well, here you go. We're back. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for the encouragement. And thanks for the connection. Could not do any of this stuff without you guys, that's for sure. I appreciate you. Good to be back. We'll talk again soon.